Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland. Here I am in London in front of Sir Joseph Bazalgette's house in the St John's Wood area. This is Hamilton Terrace. So Sir Joseph Bazalgette is well known as a civil engineer, responsible for so many projects such as the Victoria Embankment, the Chelsea Embankment. The Thames was about twice as wide as it is now until he did this in the 1860s. At certain points it was twice as wide, building many celebrated bridges in London such as Hammersmith Bridge, Albert Bridge and others. Anyway, Bazalgette was born in 1819 at Enfield, which is now part of London. It was then considered Middlesex, a bit north of London. His father was a retired Royal Navy officer, so Bazalgette is a decidedly French name. His grandfather was a Huguenot who'd moved from France and become quite affluent. So our Bazalgette, he was brought up in the Church of England. So he was mathematically gifted, and then he became an engineer. There was no formal training back then. He didn't have to pass exams to qualify as an engineer. Just got himself employed as one and learnt on the job. It was all very informal until the late 19th century. And he went to China. He worked in various irrigation and drainage projects there. He came back here. He married at the age of 26. He had a dozen children, and they were living here in the 1840s, just after these houses were built. Then he took on the gargantuan task of a new sewage system for London, and insisted on a very wide diameter, realizing the population might grow. And it's a good thing he did, because as buildings got higher and so on, the original diameter would not have been able to cope with the amount of effluent flowing out there, and so there was often just an open sewer on the street. Cholera killed 14,000 people in 1 year because of that. So the city absolutely reeked. If you go to a very underdeveloped city today, sometimes I've been there, and there's just this noxious stench, and it was like that back then. So people said, oh, so miasma was killing people. Then with the Broad Street pump in Soho, Dr. John Snow proved in the 1850s that it was really contaminated water. So he managed to dramatically reduce the incident of death from cholera. How some people said that typhus and typhoid increased as a result of his sewers. And there was a great stench in 1858 which made Parliament vote through the gargantuan sum required to build the brick sewers to get the filth all the way out of London. So he did the country an enormous service, and he was knighted for that. He did not inherit a baronetcy. That's why he's Sir Joseph. So he lived on until 1881. He was obviously quite a wealthy man, but in 1851 he left here. He lived in two other different houses in London. I'm not sure where he's buried. So he's very much one of the great and the good. Other things I should point out about him. Oh yes, so there's a memorial to him by the embankment that he built in the 1860s in London, near Waterloo Bridge. Another thing to bear in mind is his great-grandson is a television director, and his great-great-grandson, Peter Bazalgette, as well. And so Stephen Fry, in his waspish and witty way, said that this Sir Joseph's descendants are undoing Sir Joseph's good work, because his descendants are pumping all the shit back into London with their television programs. Alright, so please follow me on Twitter and Instagram, on Facebook and so on, and choose online lessons with me in English, history, politics, religious studies, law, French and so forth. Check out my poesy channel and indeed my English law channel. Choose me as your tour guide in Londinium, and I'll translate from French, Spanish, Italian, Romanian, German or Russian. Toodaloo!